Hi everyone, it's my pleasure to announce a new course that we're launching as part of Advanced Macro Policy Modeling, or AMPM, called AMPM 13. It's the latest kind of course in our series, and the topic of this course is Advanced Transparency in Communications, looking at both theory and practice. So this is of course a very important topic for central banks that are looking to improve the quality of their monetary policy communications, taking into account kind of the international best practices for achieving pretty much the highest levels of transparency possible. So this course is going to be led by Schembri, who's the former Deputy Governor of the Bank of Canada, and we'll have kind of technical support from members of the staff of the Global Forecasting School that have been closely involved in kind of exploring the frontiers of monetary policy transparency and communication. So the intent of the course, which would span about 5 days, again in a mostly kind of online format, the intent of the course would really be to reach a target audience that mostly includes board members and policymakers, as well as their advisors that are kind of closely responsible for developing the communications tools and frameworks for various central banks. This could also, of course, appeal to members of communication staffs at central banks that are looking to improve the ways in which they relay monetary policy. So in terms of the content that we're hoping to cover in this course over those 5 days, the first kind of major component, of course, would be looking at the existing frameworks for monetary policy that are considered best in class. So that includes the Mark I iteration of the FPAS, as well as the next generation of the forecasting and policy analysis system known as FPAS Mark II. And so under this, we'll be exploring the more theoretical foundations of monetary policy transparency and the various communications vehicles we could be using to relay our policy decisions. Some of the other components of the course include going into some of the more technical components of the various monetary policy communications vehicles. So that would of course include the monetary policy report and thinking about how a best-in-class report is drafted and helping people that might even be kind of higher level, not necessarily involved in the day-to-day drafting, understand actually what goes into the process of putting together that very important communications tool. We might also help board members and their advisors kind of really explore what some of their submissions might look like. So of course under FPAS Mark I and certainly under Mark II, the submissions that board members make in terms of their final decisions and how those are communicated to the public is of course very important, and so we'd again explore best practices there. Some of the other kind of important components that we'd like to explore during this course is looking at what a world-class kind of media training would look like. Of course, board members and other kind of members of communication staff and central banks often have a lot of interaction with various forms of media platforms through interviews, press conferences, and so on. And of course, kind of developing best practices there is incredibly important. And the last kind of information that we want to cover during this course is really kind of brainstorming and exploring what very good code of conduct looks like for board members and policymakers in their communication. So ideas here that we could explore include things like potential blackout periods, kind of codes of conduct governing, how information is communicated via media appearances, or alternatively through more kind of flexible platforms such as social media. And so we'd include kind of various components there. And the idea with this course really would be that the morning sessions of the course would be devoted more to the theoretical principles of each of these ideas that I talked about, and the afternoon sessions would look at more practical applications of each of these ideas. So it's going to be a very kind of interactive and dynamic course. It's not going to be lecturing or anything like that, but rather through the leadership of Schembri, who kind of has a wealth of experience in developing best-in-class communications frameworks, we'd really explore with all of you what these applications might look like, how they might be specific to different countries based on their different institutional setups, and kind of continuing to push the frontiers of transparency and accountability for central banks. So we very much hope that you'll be interested in joining us this July online for this course. A link to register and apply for the course is included in the link below. So we look forward to reviewing those. Thank you so much.